enough that this is going to be, similar to what I've done before, but also a little bit different. So I have a bunch of really cool stuff for you guys. We'll make sure it's out on the in Brokerment so you guys can download. We'll make sure we get this out to you guys. So I'll talk about all this stuff in a little bit here, but are we good to go? Are we? Yeah? Okay. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. This is one of my favorite subjects. So open house is one of my favorite things to do. I honestly believe it is the fastest way to get a deal in escrow outside of a cash investor. So outside of having somebody just come up to you and say, I'm going to buy a house cash, I'm ready to go, let's do it. This is the best way. Not only to build your database too. One of the best ways to build your database is open houses. And I know a couple of you in here, I know Doug's been doing them for a while and he's been having a lot of people through. Tor's done them, I've done them. So basically when I first started in real estate, I was doing so many things at one time. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because I'm hoping you guys aren't doing that. And those of you in the Relentless Training course, or those that are going to be starting the Relentless Training course, are going to learn that we're going to get you hyper-focused on business, not doing everything at one time, if that makes sense. I know that when I first started, I was doing like farming, I was doing leads, I was doing door knocking, I was doing open houses, database. I think I was doing one more thing, but I was doing like 6 things at one time. And what I found was that I wasn't getting anywhere. I was getting very little track. Oh, my investors. That was my 6th thing. So I had investors that I was working with, yeah, thank you. So I wasn't getting very far. So basically, I felt like I was just getting little by little, not getting much traction because I was so involved in everything, which meant I was only doing like 1 open house a month, right? And then I was farming, and then I was out door knocking one day, and then I was working with my investor trying to get some flips going. And that was the only thing I really had going, was because I'd already been working with this guy for 3 years by the time I got my license, right? So I just felt like, man, this isn't really going anywhere. And then my investor said, hey, I'm pulling out of the market. The margins are not what I want. Like he was wanting 10% margins. The margins had dropped to like 6-7%, which is still good, and that's a whole other story. But either way, he's like, I'm pulling out. You need to really go focus full time on real estate. So I was like, holy crap, what am I going to do, right? So that's the moment I decided, wait a minute, I'm doing too many things at one time. I am just going to focus on 2 or 3 things. And so I focused on my database and I focused on open houses. And you've heard this story before. If you haven't, I did 27 transactions in 8 months, okay, by getting laser focused. Super focused in everything that I did. So in open houses, you guys, I started a mastermind group with a buddy of mine who actually started Open House Helpers. So if you've heard of Open House Helpers, he's had that for years now, and he helps agents set up their signs and take them down. Because in that group, as I was trying to learn everything there was about open houses, I wouldn't pick the brains of everybody that was having successful open houses in my brokerage at the time. I was like, what are you doing? How are you getting these deals, And then I'd start talking about what they were doing. And I was the guy when I started my first open house that I had a camping chair, a 32-ounce Pepsi, and 25 flyers, and that was it. I would tackle everybody that came through the door and try to convince them to buy, right? And it didn't work. That doesn't work, right? But I went from that to having a full-blown setup, which I'll share with you today. So on everything that I do. But when I got laser focused, I said, all right, 100 people a month in my database. And open house was one way I was going to get 100 people in my database, because the more open houses I could do, the more people I meet, the more people I could put in my database, right? So it was all about hitting these numbers and what activities can I do to get the people in there that I can start building the relationships, right? We agree that this is a relationship-based business, right? Everybody understands this is not transaction-based business. There are transactions that you're doing, but the only way that you get transactions is through relationships, because you have to establish a relationship, build a rapport, build a know you, like you, trust you before they're going to use you as an agent. So we really need to focus on that, right? We focus on building relationships, the money will come. So we want to get all of you to stop chasing the commission and start chasing the relationships, because the relationships is what's going to win. That's what's going to give you a long career in this business. When you have more, if you had 800 relationships that you're maintaining through automation, all that stuff, you're going to have far more referrals than you're trying to chase that one relationship to close that one deal every month. Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
That's what most agents are doing. They're chasing commissions. And we're good as agents. We can be sharks, man. We can filter out and figure out who's ready, and we're zeroed in on that person. Realizing that you guys know that you're competing, that same person that you found out's ready, there's 17 other agents that'll be touching that agent throughout the course of that person's transaction, right? So it's crazy. So you need to build relationships, which the referrals come in, all right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So like I said, open house is one of my favorites. Let's start with, what you guys need to bring to an open house, okay? So I'm going to start there. I'm going to use this board. Can you guys see this okay? Yeah? Yes? No? Yeah. All right. That was for all the Zoom people. That was for all the Zoom people because I know everybody in the room can see it. All right, guys. So let's just dive in. So let's just talk about the things you need to bring. Well, you need to bring at least 20 signs that go like this, and you need to bring at least 5 signs that go like this. Okay? Now, you can check out signs with us. I don't know how many they give you at a time. It's probably 10 or 15. But start with whatever you can start with. I started with 10 signs. That's it. I had to borrow $80 from my mom to get 10 signs because I was literally broke when I started this. Okay, I went from making a lot of money to losing everything. I lost everything. I had to move in with my mom. I had a kid at the time. It was a pretty humbling experience. But she put $80 on her credit card, got 10 open house signs, and I got to work. And I turned from that 10 signs to starting a team with one of the guys in this room right here. Started a team, and we purchased over, 400 signs for our team. We had over 24 agents on our team. So I went from nothing to really ramping it back up again. So 20 signs, work your way up to that, build your inventory. For those of you that go, wow, that's going to be expensive. Yeah, it is. Not going to lie to you. It's going to cost you some money to do that. But you can check out our signs for free until you get here. So you check out our signs, you close your first transaction, you should be taking a certain amount of money out of that transaction. Okay? I would recommend like $500, at least $500 out of every transaction you close for business purposes, for stuff like this, for things that you need. That way, every closing. I'm sorry?
The video froze.
I didn't hear that.
Can you guys, is it working now?
Yeah, it is now, but it froze at the point that he said, when you close your first transaction.
Oh,
So not, am my speaker not good?
no, it's that. It's the internet, but you're
Okay.
fine. Keep going. Yeah.
Okay,
You just
okay.
said when you do your
When
first
you-
transaction,
When you close your first deal, I want you all to start thinking business-minded, right? You're in a business. This is your business. So that means you need to take some money out of that transaction and put it aside for business. And you got to build up your inventory anyway. You're going to have a certain amount of listing signs, a certain amount of open house signs, a certain amount of lock boxes, right? All these things. And then in the future, you're going to want to invest in certain other things, software, things like that. Well, take money out for it. So I would say at least $500. Take it out, and then look at your business and go, what do I need? What if down the road you need a new laptop or something like that, right? Well, you've been putting money aside out of your transactions that you have money there for things like that. But you want it for signs, lock boxes, listing signs, anything you need for your business, okay? So start taking it out. And if you could take out more, you take out more. Because you might decide to invest in your own lead program, and if that's working for you. Well, that can cost a lot of money, right? So just think like that. So you're taking it out so you can start building up your inventory. So you need 20 signs, 5 signs that go like this. The reason I have the straight up and down arrow sign is because sometimes on properties that I've done, and there's a lot of turns, sometimes there's a distance between the next turn. And if that distance is far, quarter of a mile,